Secretary General and flashed to all the branches. That is my suggestion.
Thank you. Now, along with my national president, will interact with our lawyers for some time, and then we will continue our discussion. And tomorrow morning, I will start with HSG report, and then we continue our discussions. My first thing is that my lawyer is that they have been present here since morning. They have been listening to us. What their suggestions are to our Satyagraha. Rahulji.
Greetings to everybody, and we have very sincerely attended this conference since the time it began. First of all, our best wishes for the success of your Satyagraha, because from the time we got freedom and before that, we have always seen that Satyagraha has been one of the measures to put pressure upon the governance to accept your legitimate demands. Satyagraha doesn't mean non-violence. Satyagraha doesn't mean that you are creating problems for the people, for the public at large. Satyagraha can be peacefully done. And since it is going to be done by the doctors' fraternity, which is taken to be a very highly educated, noble profession, you have all the rights to do your Satyagraha. You can have your speeches, you can have your debates, media can be there, you can give your representations to all the higher dignitaries in the governance, and whatever demands that you have, which we have been hearing about, is starting from the constitution of a National Medical Commission. Then your second issue in respect to violence, assault on doctors and their properties. Then thirdly, on the issues relating to PCT and DT Act, where there is lot of scope for harassment being caused to the doctors on account of the regulations which have been provided in the Act, where for small clerical mistake, technical mistake also, the people can challan you, prosecute you. Then you have the problem of medical negligence cases which have risen to thousands and lakhs of cases in the last few years, and doctors are being harassed on a continuous basis. And till date, with utmost respect to the system that we have for justice dispensation, with all respect to everybody, there is still lot of scope for improvement. Whatever judgment that we are coming across from National Commission under the Consumer Act or from the Honorable Supreme Court, they may have the protection of the patient as an utmost priority in their mind, which they are justified to have. At the same time, there must be a balance. Justice is always balancing. Both the sides have to be treated fairly and equally. But what we have found that in some of the cases decided by the Supreme Court, where they have awarded compensation against doctors, the amounts have increased with every judgment, and they are now running into several crores of rupees. So the issue of capping of compensation is also equally important, because capping is followed by the government itself in so many other cases. So your demand for capping of compensation, your demand for a central legislation in respect of cases of assault and violence against doctors and their properties, your demand for amendments in PCT and DT Act, where there is lot of harassment being caused, and then you will yourself find, and as we as lawyers experience, that many times different courts are giving different judgments. One high court is giving one ratio of law, another high court is giving another ratio of law. And both the high courts are deciding correctly to their conscience. So, law is never in itself very consistent and like mathematics. Law is not mathematics. So, whatever demands that doctors have, they may go ahead, they may make this Satyagraha very successful, try to put as much pressure as on the government agencies, but then Satyagraha should be within some parameters at designated places with prior information to the concerned police authorities regarding the number of people whatever arrangements that you are making, there should not be any cause for any violence there. With your speeches, with your debates, it should be a good satyagraha. So there shouldn't be any fear in anybody's mind that this satyagraha is going to be any problem of law. So with this, we can have any questions coming from all the doctors' friends who are present here with respect to any issues, any confusion they have in their mind, any doubts they have in their mind in respect to compensation cases, in respect to PCP and DT matters, in respect to assault on doctors. There was a very serious discussion going on this.
I'll tell you that a couple of issues I'm going to raise, and Rahul is going to tell us. Now, PCP and DT Act, the judgment came from Delhi High Court. In interministerial meeting, we were discussing on graded punishment. That's what our basic point is, that for clerical mistake, there should be no punishment. There were two other issues which we did not take it up in the interministerial committee because we were in the High Court on that occasion. One was that a non-pelvic ultrasonologist should not be under the PCP and DT Act. And the second was that the 6-month examination should be abolished because you cannot allow a non-MCI body to take exam. So High Court of Delhi decided to quash that 6-month exam clause, and they also gave instructions that the non-pelvic ultrasonologist should be allowed to do ultrasound with an undertaking. The Ministry of Health, Government of India, on one hand was with us on our interministerial committee, but they have gone and challenged Indian Medical Association's High Court judgment in Supreme Court. And our lawyers appears in what happened.
Just to share with you, we got associated with your Indian Medical Association sometime around August 2015. And from August 2015, we have been working on various issues concerning medical professionals under the able guidance of Dr. K.K. Agarwal. And I may not hesitate in saying that whatever issues that we have taken and we have worked, reasonably we have been able to achieve success, and till date, not in a single matter that we have had to face any failure. Whether there were some small matters with regard to some articles published in NCRT books where they made some wrong, bad comments against medical profession as a whole. So we went to the High Court and we got those matters taken off from the books on the ground that they are causing disrespect to the medical profession as a whole, and that is not the correct picture. Then there was a matter with respect to pathological labs and laboratories in Delhi, where some people filed a PIL asking the courts to close down those laboratories on the ground that they are causing pollution and they are creating other difficulties. There also we were able to get the petitions dismissed on the ground that all these nursing homes, pathological labs, they have been set up according to the master plan of the city. So there is no occasion that the court will give directions to the public authorities to carry out raids on these nursing homes and pathological labs. So those petitions were dismissed. So like this, we have handled several matters on behalf of IMA under the guidance of Dr. Agarwal. Now, coming back to this PCP and DT Act, we have found that basically the grievances of the doctors are relating to the harassment and the fear of challan, fear of prosecution, which is there. That is one issue. Because in the PCP and DT Act, under the object of the Act is undoubtedly excellent. Nobody can have any dispute on that. Female feticide, sex determination, and then termination of pregnancy of the girl child. Nobody can doubt that this is the paramount object, and legislature and the government have to control it. But the rules, regulations, the provisions, what they are providing, where they are making it very difficult
for the doctors to follow with those technical requirements, like suppose you have to fill up a form F. Now in that form, somewhere you have to mention not applicable. And if suppose that NA or not applicable is not mentioned, then they make it a ground for challenging you and saying that you are not following with the regulations. So like that there are several instances. The broader issue which is right now before the High Court and Supreme Courts and other High Courts are that in the year 2014, the government made amendments in the PCPNDT Act where they made a definition of a sonologist, radiologist, and with that definition they also amended the rules, the PCPNDT rules which have been there from 1996. There they also made some amendments providing that every doctor who's already possessed of qualifications under the MCI Act, which is basically an MBBS doctor, he will have to undergo a written assessment test from January 2017 if he wants renewal of registration of the machines and of his clinic, ultrasound clinic. Then he has to either pass a written assessment test, and if he doesn't succeed in that test, he will have to then have a 6 months training. So these were the amendments which were made by the government in 2014 in the PCPNDT rules, and they came out with some PCPNDT 6 months training rules in 2014. So IMA had challenged those provisions before Delhi High Court, saying that these are ultra virus, these are illegal. Government has no authority to make such amendments because it is only the Medical Council of India which has the powers and jurisdiction to provide whatever qualifications they consider necessary for practicing any stream of medicine. And agreeing with the contentions and submissions of the Indian Medical Association made by their councils, the High Court declared these provisions ultra virus. They declared section 2P, a part of it, as ultra virus. They struck it down. They struck down rule 331B. They struck down 6 months training rules on the ground that they are without the approval of MCI. And unless the MCI will prescribe these qualifications, these exams, these training, the government cannot do it. Against the judgment of the High Court, there have been 2-3 SLPs which have been filed. The first SLP was filed by the Indian Radiological Association of India, IRAI. For whatever reason, they did not make IMA as a party. Though IMA was the party who had succeeded before the High Court, but in Supreme Court, IRAI did not make IMA a party, and at the back of IMA, they wanted some stay order from the Supreme Court. But from the very first day when the matter was listed in the Supreme Court, we were appearing before the Supreme Court, and we informed the court that we are the body who has won from the High Court, and there should not be any stay of the High Court judgment. Otherwise, this is going to create a lot of complications for the practicing doctors for last 30-40 years, and they are now required to undergo this assessment test and training. So that's why Supreme Court did not grant any stay order in their favor. Second came the petition from Union of India. So the Government of India has also now come to the Supreme Court against the Delhi High Court order on the ground that whatever High Court has decided is wrong. So there also they wanted some stay order against the operation of the judgment of the High Court. But we appeared from the very first day and pressed upon the Supreme Court that there should not be any stay of the High Court judgment because the High Court has decided correctly, and if the Supreme Court wants to examine the issue, then let the matter be heard for final hearing and let it be decided what is right and what is wrong. So Supreme Court has finally agreed that there shall not be any stay order in the matter, and the matter shall be finally heard by the court and then decided what is right and what is wrong. So this is with regard to PCP and DT matter. With regard to other issues like compensation, capping, there are judgments from the High Court. Kunal Saha is a celebrated case where more than 6 crores compensation has been awarded against the hospital and the doctors. But with all respect to the Supreme Court, the judges, the judgments are not consistent. They are not very clear. They are not very accurate. There is a scope to debate them. There is a scope to convince the judges that there should be capping or the formula to be adopted for compensation calculation. That formula should be well balanced. It should be balancing to both the parties. Suppose there is some doctor running his own independent clinic, nursing home with 2-3 other doctors, 5-7 other people, and if suppose courts are awarding damages running into several crores of rupees, it may not be practically possible for that doctor to even continue his practice after that. So, whenever the opportunity comes, whenever an issue comes, and we are able to put the points before the courts concerned, because ultimately, once it comes to the courts, then they can only give the solution. So one must have hope, and on that hope, we are always prepared to work with our friends doctors, because lawyers, doctors, there is no such difference. Doctors are also giving services to the public at large. They are concerned for their health, they are concerned for their physical well-being, and we are always concerned with our clients to get them justice, to get what is correct in accordance with law, to see that their rights are vindicated, and to see that any wrong done to them is rectified by the courts. So lawyers, doctors, we always take it as
Delhi was. Yes, sir. You want to?
Sir, one humble request and 2 questions. One request was that no doubt you are doing a wonderful job. But we are finding that many states, like I can quote the example of my state, Maharashtra, regarding cross-patching cases, regarding this graded punishment, we are also fighting. There are certain judgments there. I feel my request would be that there should be more coordination regarding what is happening at the state level and what is happening at the national level. That is my humble request. Second thing regarding PCPNDT, I have 2 questions. One is whether this misconception is there with us that everything has to go through the Central Supervisory Board to the Parliament and then only Act can be modified, or whether only rules can be modified.
I'll answer this because in our interministerial committee, where did we default? When the interministerial committee was formed, we were not aware that WCD ministry also needed to be included in the interministerial committee, Women and Child Development. Because that was not included, PCPNDT Act mandates that all the powers are with the Central Supervisory Board. And Clinical Establishment Act mandates all the powers are with the Council, the National Councils of Clinical Establishment. Now, the interministerial committee, second mistake we did was, we could not understand properly that this is only a recommendatory body. We thought that interministerial means that whatever they do is done. Now they say is that Central Supervisory Board is above us. The ministry, the interministerial committee says, whatever our recommendation has to go to Central Supervisory Board. And in Central Supervisory Board, we cannot win as on today without Satyagraha. Because Central Supervisory Board contains NGOs, we are one, there are 5 or 6 NGOs, and they say graded punishment, no, formation of differentiation of form F, no, and there we lose. And second is, because our own community we are fighting with radiologists, so there they find that they take advantage of that and they make us, so whatever interministerial recommendation has been agreed, they have been rejected by Central Supervisory Board.
At Maharashtra Medical Council, we on our own took a decision to award graded punishment. The government went against our decision in the High Court, and still High Court upheld this decision that yes, our council is well within its power to award graded punishment.
Sir,
Penal provisions. Question is the penal provisions. Yes, council decision.
sir, can I ask some queries, sir? I am
Can you come
Dr.
up and speak?
Sir, I am Dr. Datta Srivastava. I am a gynecologist. Gynecology practice for more than 34 years. I have been associated with many other organizations with the gynecology problems. What I feel about the PCPNDT Act, besides all these things, we know that now the postgraduate, those who pass the postgraduate degree in gynecology, they are allowed to do the ultrasonography. My question is simple one thing, sir. As far as sonologist, I will agree with you. After MBBS, now what happens practical situation I am telling you in the real setup. Nursing home people, they are taking they apply to the chief medical officer for their ultrasonography. This one. They got the permission because they are showing MD who gynecologist are there. But when they got all the permission, they are telling the MBBS doctors come and do the ultrasonography. It's very difficult. I am telling you, sir, you are telling here in front of everybody, it's very difficult. These people is coming and doing only MBBS doctors are doing the ultrasonography in the name of the nursing home. Even I've seen the Calcutta big hospital, corporate hospital, they are taking only MBBS doctors for sonology. But return is that one. That is one question. As far as the compensation concern, say 7 days before, somebody went to the cesarean section, delivery of the baby by cutting the abdomen. And the patient died in the OT, operation theatre. Now, your law, police, everybody is coming against our doctors. Without knowing the reason, how this woman has died. And that also don't know what is PPH. And there is your lawyer, sir. No, I am telling one thing, sir.
No, I am understanding.
No, I am telling one thing. We are working. At this age of the world, working for the better things. Anything that happens. Now, some of the lawyer told me, are you doing the ECG, cardiography? Because you are taking the cardiovascular failure. I am just, sir, to me I am doing everybody in the ECG like this. But it's not possible for the gynecologist to do the ECG because of pregnancy. This is some of the point I am telling you, and then compensation you have to give the more. We are charging 15,000 for total operation. But here, this lower on the opposite and same party, you know better, I am not going to detail that one. And there is a problem for us, sir.
See, with regard to PCP and DT problems, the Delhi High Court has categorically decided that an MBBS doctor is more than qualified to carry out ultrasound, sonology, imaging, and whatever these techniques. And there is no requirement that you have to possess a postgraduate qualification. So Delhi High Court has decided that under the scheme of the Act, an MBBS doctor is more than sufficient to do the ultrasounds. Now the government has challenged it in the Supreme Court. They say that Delhi High Court has wrongly decided this 6 months training should be made compulsory, these exams should be given to strictly enforce the Act. And these have been the observations made by the Supreme Court judge, which I am sharing it with you. The Honorable Supreme Court judge has said that what has qualifications to do with the enforcement? Because that's a moral issue. Even if a doctor is postgraduate or he has had 6 months training, but if he is violating the provisions of the Act and if he is doing the sex determination test, then it's a moral issue. It is not an issue which you can control by putting more qualifications. So the Honorable Supreme Court is appreciating that whatever these qualifications that have been put in the Act, whatever these written tests, what they have provided, they will not solve the problem. If you have the problem of falling sex ratio, if female foeticide is there, then this is a moral issue. So a doctor who is doing it, he may be postgraduate, he may be MBBS, he may be 6 months training, he may be written test, but it is a moral issue. And that is why the Supreme Court has not indulged in granting any stay order to the opposite sides.
I just want to add is that I was just reading Google 3 or 4 days back, some other cases going on in PNDT. We have find out we need to become a party. One more, 3 days back. What was that? Some judgment has come on 8th of November of Supreme Court where we are a party. No. We means headquarters? No, no. No, but if we are in party, then why did not get there? We may not be in a party. Maybe some branch of the party.
See, I just
Is any state has filed a writ petition in IMA in Supreme Court against PCP and DT which was rejected on Tuesday?
I'll tell you in Maharashtra, sir, the Secretary of IRI has sent a message everywhere stating that on Tuesday the Supreme Court has given a stay on the orders of the High Court of 6 months. Now, that is what I'll show you the message which is going on everywhere. And Tuesday he has specifically said.
It has been granted, but I am only trying to find out it that some IMA case has been on 9th. The court judgment mentions the name of Indian Medical Association P has been dismissed. I just want to know that we are not aware. Was it any state? No. No. So just find out.
see on 8th of November 2016, which is hardly how many days back? Today is last Tuesday. We have come across a Supreme Court judgment on PCP and DT Act. So that judgment has been delivered by the bench of Justice Deepak Mishra and another coordinate judge. We have read the judgment. So that judgment was filed, that judgment has been given in respect to writ petition filed by petitioner, some NGO, Voluntary Health Organization, VHI, where they were wanting the strict enforcement of PCP and DT Act.
1994.
Implementation and strict implementation. So, in that case, another writ was also tagged along with that, where IMA was the petitioner. So we need to verify because we didn't get time to find out which IMA chapter had filed that petition in the Supreme Court. But there was a writ petition also filed by IMA. And IMA was contending before the Supreme Court against the PCP and DT Act that these provisions are causing us problem and these provisions should be taken off. They should be declared illegal because lot of harassment is being caused to the doctors on account of technical errors, clerical errors. That is not the intention of law, and this is a misuse and abuse of the law by the authorities. And in the garb of that, they are asking bribery, this and all those things. So the Supreme Court has discussed the entire scheme of the Act, the sections, provisions, rules, and everything. And ultimately, as it is happening in PCP and DT matters, that courts are ultimately deciding for upholding the law, because they are always impressed that this act is with the object to control female feticide. So they say that yes, these provisions should be strictly implemented. And for that purpose, in para 33 of the judgment, they have given some directions all over India from small a to P, which are about 12-13 directions, to make these cases fast track. To make these cases of PCP and DT Act fast track. And they have given directions to the Chief Justices of the various High Courts all over India to constitute a 3-judges committee in their respective High Courts who shall monitor the tracking of these cases. So PCP and DT Act is becoming a problem. It is becoming more serious a problem with this judgment of 8th of November. But IMA contention in the Supreme Court regarding this misuse of powers under the Act, that has been dismissed.
If that happens, we are not going to win gated punishment at all. That means graded punishment has been discarded by the Supreme Court, if I understand it correctly.
Let me just say why Supreme Court has dismissed IMA contentions. The reason what they have given, they say that if suppose there is a wrong prosecution against you, suppose the authorities file a challan against you, they file a charge sheet against you, they register a FIR against you, and if the doctor is advised that this prosecution is illegal, it is misused, it is abused, then Supreme Court says that you have a remedy in law. That remedy is that you can challenge that criminal prosecution before the High Court and you can have it quashed. So whenever there is a wrong prosecution, whenever there is an illegal prosecution, it is not that the provision has to be struck down. You have a remedy, you have to go to the High Court and tell the High Court that what the authorities are doing against me is illegal.
What Rahul is going to, what Rahul is saying is that if I am not wearing an apron and if they seal my machine and they put me behind the bar, then I have to go to the High Court for a question. That we know, that we have a provision, but that's what we are fighting. That unless I am caught for a female feticide, any other thing should not be a penal provision. That's what we are fighting about.
So that's why, see, that's why Satyagraha hai. That's why Satyagraha hai. Because as a lawyer, I can only be discussing in terms of what are the provisions of law, what are the remedies available to us in law. But if suppose the law has to be changed, amendments have to be made, provisions have to be changed, then ultimately that is legislature, parliament, and parliament is government. So ultimately Satyagraha, protest, and then we see what positive results we can have.
Sir, my question is for
क्या?
6 months training के लिए भी उन्होंने order कर दिया है that this provision of 6 months training should also be strictly enforced, though they have not discussed with respect to MCI or the retail issue. Yes. But in this judgment, what we have seen of 8th of November, just in last 4 lines, Supreme Court has said that this 6 months training rule should also be enforced. This is imperative, this is good. But there it was not the issue that whether this 6 months training is applicable for MBBS doctors or postgraduate or non-doctors.
We need to intervene in that case. We need to intervene and inject that another case is going on.
or it should be retrospective or it should be in the heart. Sir, my question is for Advocate Rahul Ji, that in Haryana, I am one of the office bureau of Sonal Association of India, this Haryana. And like Delhi High Court, we also went to Punjab and Haryana High Court regarding the same issue. And Punjab and High Court, that state our...
One second, Dr. S.S. Agarwal is not here. Request Madam to please come here. I have the privilege of chairing the meeting as the President for a couple of minutes. You will be able to write that I chaired a meeting as the President. Yes. You still become that.
Respected Chairwoman, my question is for Advocate Rahul Gupta Ji, that like Delhi High Court, we went to Punjab and Haryana High Court where the case was upheld in our favor, the same issue of ultrasound training, etc. In spite of that, Rohtak University that issued an order for examination to start. And so many of us even deposited our fee with them, but they did not came with any date for examination. So my question is whether we can put some contempt against the registrar of university regarding examination or not. This is
For that we'll have to see the judgment. We'll have to see the order of the High Court, whether the directions to the authorities, because contempt will lie only when there would be specific orders and directions.
second part is that certain
You
district.
have 10 seconds. You want to speak?
The coming 6 now, November 16th, we are fighting for 6 demands. One of that is PCP NDT. As I am a gynecologist, I am facing some same problems. previous meeting also I expressed, is our, we have to fight for clerical mistakes. We are facing same punishment for that. We are pressurizing the government to amend this act.
She was few minutes president.
And second, Advocate Rahul ji.
See, there is one very important point regarding this PCP and DT Act, where we are representing to the government to either take out these provisions which are causing us problem like small requirements. So you have a valid representation, you have a valid case, because by wearing an apron, by keeping a register, by doing these small things, the problem is not resolved by these. Problem ultimately is of morale. Problem ultimately is of the character. If a doctor is committing violation of law by doing the sex examination and then leading to termination of pregnancy, that is illegal. But by putting these restrictions that you fill the form in this manner, you put a silent observer, you make a register, you write like this, you write like that, this is not going to solve the problem. Ultimately, it's a moral problem. So if you have declared that this is an offense, if you have made provisions for punishment, then that is simply sufficient. Why do you have 1,000 regulations? Because how will that 1,000 regulations control the problem if the person is committing that problem?
Quickly, yes.
Second part of my question was that while issuing a registration, district approved authority, that is the final authority, and in certain districts the certificates are being renewed up to 2021, while in some districts, say Panipat, they are only issuing up to 31st of December 2016. What action we should take to convince the authorities, or we should take some legal recourse? What do you suggest?
See, Doctor, if we have any grievance against a public authority, and if we feel that public authority is not responding correctly in accordance with the rules and the act, then you always have your remedy to first give them a representation. And then thereafter you have to take it to its logical conclusion by filing a writ petition in the High Court. So ultimately what we may conclude, that there may be more litigation, there may be more cases to be filed, because public, now see what has happened, the society is becoming a legal society. Now it's becoming so complex that on the one hand there are PILs going on. Some courts are giving directions in those PILs. Now in those PILs they are not dealing with the major issues. They are only dealing with the issue what is in the interest of the society at large. So many times what happens that in judgments given in PIL, the public authorities are implementing those judgments. When they are implementing those judgments, they are committing some violation against some other rights of the people. So people then go to the court. They say that the authorities are doing it wrong. So things are very complex. So that's why there is a need, whether it is IMA as a body or an individual doctor, that legal advices are becoming very important from the right lawyers, from the competent lawyers, to address all these issues. Because public authorities are under their own pressure. And you may not know that if they are doing some act, they may be doing it for implementation of some other High Court judgment in some PIL, which we may not be knowing. So we say that you are doing it wrong, then we challenge it in the court, then the other judgment comes, so then the judges decide accordingly. So you see, that's how it is going on. But as far as your question is concerned, if you are aggrieved from any action of a public authority, you have to give them a representation. If they do not accept your representation, then you have to ultimately file a writ in the High Court, and then the High Court will have to give you this one.
Well, you have a question on? Yes.
So my question consists of two parts, sir.
I will request all three of them to ask the question, then you can answer. Then I want to raise one more issue. Quickly. Question is,
Doctors have legal hurdles not only from CPA, criminal or civil. Now we faces problem from human rights tribunal and everyone.
Please talk
I would
about-
like to know, no, I would like to know, there was a case against IMA headquarters, against the President and Secretary General for endorsing a food product called Tropicana, that 2 tablespoons of fruit juice per day is good for health. I would like to know the position of that case as on now.
Let me
One,
answer,
sir.
let me answer that. IMA is free to endorse claims and statements. We cannot endorse a product because we do not have a body who can check the safety and quality of a product. If I say Tropicana is good for health, then I must have
IMA did not say Tropicana is good for health.
I said we have already won that case in the High Court. We have a legal opinion. Last year, legal opinion was published. Indian Medical Association headquarters is free to endorse any product with a claim statement, like orange juice is good for health. If there is any such thing, it is allowed.
Right. Second part is that media has got a powerful thing. Now people are coming in guise of doctors. They are saying the soap, toothpaste is good, soap is good, and they are coming as doctors and endorsing. Will IMA fight for that?
It cannot be done.
Why, sir?
It cannot be done.
Why,
A
sir?
doctor cannot endorse a product.
When doctors cannot do that, why doctors' profession and doctor personnel are misused in the media, sir?
No, this cannot be done. You are talking about some fake doctor is being shown. Yes. Show us the clip, we will challenge it. Thank you. Then. Say, we won, Rahul said that we have won all the cases, but I will do one case without his permission, and that was Naranda advertisement, because the judge said, I am not going to pass order in your favor, and so we had to withdraw that case.
So regarding the cross-party matters, in fact, I have also been consulting one of times I called. Maharashtra has been fighting 3 major cases regarding the homeopathic, then Ayurvedic, and another MMC also had filed a case which has been clubbed into the Maharashtra Mumbai High Court. That is, now it is going to come for final hearing. Similarly, recently Delhi High Court also similar cases have been filed regarding the Ayush.
Today what I will do is, because Rahul is here, in the next, after the meeting is over, we can have a meeting with him.
No, I just talked to him before, but my suggestion was that because ultimately we know that at the state level, ultimate justice will not be
Ultimately become the Supreme
So
Court.
can we have similar all cases moved by a writ petition in the Supreme Court?
Yes.
In that case, what will happen is, unnecessarily all of our states are fighting at various levels and lot of.
But we tried that, and then the Supreme Court said, let the High Court of Bombay High Court order come. We
No,
tried
that was regarding the SLP which we filed. But now similar case has come in Delhi High Court, similar Punjab also has
Let
been
us
filed.
explore.
Because I have
We
the
discuss
order.
the same, let us explore.
So we can do that explanation. Thank you.
Sometimes.
My very, very brief question, sir. During a course of treatment, whether post-operative or during anesthesia or any surgical complication, a patient dies. Before his negligence is proved or the other man has not even applied for his thing, he is suddenly faced with consumer, all right, we accept that, civil court and criminal court. Then he has to seek a bail, and the bail means some guarantor. A guarantor means some land. Most of the doctors have migrated from small places to come and earn their living. They are living in rented houses, and they don't have any land or property to give as guarantor apart from the humiliation that they do. Is there a remedy that we can prevent this civil and criminal till a negligence is proved during the consumer?
Jacob Matthew case, that's all. You have to quote the Jacob Matthew case, the committee has to be constituted, till the committee constituted, FIR cannot be lodged.
But before that, they can go to the criminal and civil, even if it
They
is
can
not
file
proven.
it. They can file a complaint, but that file will be converted into a FIR only after principles of Jacob Matthew.
So the court has to give them a, because if there is an FIR, then only you get a
I
bail.
said FIR, see, what I am trying to say, the cognizance of the complaint will only be taken after the committee comes. For criminal cases.
Or say. So then why should he be going to the thing, even if it is not yet proven that there has been
You
negligence?
file a complaint to the police, you have to show them the Jacob Matthew case, they will have to constitute a committee. The committee says there is a prima facie case, then only FIR will be lodged.
Yes.
Then the matter goes to the court. Thank you. Last. I want to change the subject. Yes.
Sir, I have 7 questions here.
One question.
7.
7 questions.
Before that,
Question number 7.
Before that, my suggestion to both SS and KK is that maybe it's time we have to go for teleconferencing between the headquarters and the headquarters of the states. You have to finance for the equipping them in the states so that you have the interaction at least once a month, an interaction, legal interaction like this. Because number of legal issues are coming up in the state. We are not getting an access. Today we have the legal luminaries who are the advisors to the EMA. And I am a surgeon graduated from PGI Chandigarh.
I'll answer this question right away. That we are planning a FaceTime legal hour every week. Now Facebook gives you an opportunity to interact with people where you can ask questions. So we will have a legal hour of the week, every week, where all of you can be connected and ask questions. That we will do. Next.
Seizing a hospital is legally valid. Because there is an incident, there is a human error in treatment of a patient. The district magistrate has ordered for seizure of the hospital before any conviction, before any inquiry. Is it legal? Number
Under
one.
which act? Under which act?
He is the registering authority, he says yes.
No.
You-
Under the Clinical Establishment Act, if it is applicable in your hospital, in your premises, yes, then that's what we are fighting.
No, whichever act it is it legally valid seizure of
Under
the
the
hospital
Clinical
once it is
Establishment
registered?
Act, under the clinical establishment, this is what we have been fighting.
Okay.
This issue we have been fighting.
There is a problem in the hospital in the residential areas. If the neighbor complains that there is a hospital in the residential area,
This is a matter which has to be state to state. In Delhi, we have won the High Court matter where we have been able to win that laboratories can be in residential areas, and in hospitals you have to find the master plan according to the master plan. So it has to be a state matter, it has to be a state to state discussion. Next.
sir, one thing here, if it is a small village or rural area, because IME is not only the capital city or city of this thing, and there are thousands of clinics and nursing homes which are serving the rural poor in the rural areas and also some areas of the urban areas. And these things you cannot take it as a blanket statement as though you have
No, I
a...
said this is state to state matter.
Yeah.
We have to see the state laws and accordingly set. This is what I'm trying to say.
Then the medical accident, the medical, hospital death is a medical accident. Hospital death is a medical accident. And no accident, the consumer court says you give so much of money.
Error of judgment is not a crime.
Unfortunately, hospital death,
If you can prove it was error of judgment, if you can prove it was difference of opinion, if you can prove that it was a medical accident, then it's not a crime. But if there is a deficiency of service, you are covered in the Consumer Protection Act.
but that is once it is proved. Once it is proved, it is a offense.
No, I am only trying
Unless it is proved,
Anyway, that's the matter that's the why people go to the court when there is a dispute. Next.
and as far as MBBS is concerned, the definition is Bachelor of Medicine, Bachelor of Surgery. The categorization of the CEA, it categorically says categorization 1, clinics run by MBBS doctor, he cannot do surgery.
No, it is not like that. MBBS doctor can do everything as long as he doesn't write himself as a specialist. See, doing a procedure is not a crime. But if you write yourself as a specialist, that's wrong. So MBBS doctor, if he wants to do an MTP, if he has 6 months training in that, he can do MTP. But he cannot write himself as a gynecologist. That's the law.
Recently, I have seen some of the judgments where an MBBS doctor giving a spinal anesthesia, and an anesthetist is not available. And because you are not an anesthetist, you cannot use spinal anesthesia.
No, it's not like that.
The Consumer Court has given a sanction of about 10 lakhs rupees and not that. I have seen the judgment, that's why I am asking you.
See, I'm telling you the answer.
The cross speciality, if that is the case, this will be the detrimental to the medical profession.
If an anesthetist is available, on that day if he is not available, and if it was a life-threatening emergency, you can give. But if it was not an emergency, you can only give it with consent, not without consent. So there are very thin lines between illegal and what is not illegal. Thank you.
I have another question, sir, here, regarding the blood transfusion. I am practicing in semi-urban area, semi-rural area. In case of emergency, I don't have any license to draw blood and this thing. The drug inspector or drug authorities, they say, unless you have a license, you cannot transfuse blood. And the law says that you have to take care of the patient so that the life of the patient is in a safe position, so that the patient can be shifted from the hospital. These two are two controversial things. And I am a surgeon basically. I know what it is.
NCI Act 2.4, you make sure patient is not neglected. Whatever you will do with the interest of the patient. And we have many IPC provisions which say anything done in good faith in the interest of the patient is not a crime. I'm going to divert to one more question is, recently we have seen in Delhi pollution. And we interjected in Supreme Court. We had a very senior lawyer who was to be appointed as a Supreme Court judge, who appeared on our behalf 3 times, Gopal Subramanian sir. And I tell Rahul to say what IMA has been able to do regarding that pollution. And one step further, Dr. Desai, when he was in Japan yesterday, and then we have spoken to the WMA and we have also spoken to Japan Medical Association and the CIMAO. In the month of March, we are calling few experts from across the world in the issue of pollution who will be able to sit here and decide about some policies regarding pollution in Asia.
Sir, you're answering as a doctor expert. I want the legal expert to sell this. If I transfuse blood, if something reaction is there, how to save my skin?
He says if there is a rare blood transfusion reaction, how to save my skin? The answer is consent. When my son was born in US, they did not take up the case till I signed that my wife can die and my son can die. Unless I signed that I am giving a consent that during normal delivery, my wife can die and my son can die, they refuse to take the case. So in every blood transfusion, you need to write down everything in great detail. That's the answer. Read Samira Kohli case of Supreme Court, you will get the answers that there are 2 types of consent. Canterbury consent and the Bullock's consent. So the time has come from us to talk about rarest of the rare things. In Kunal Shah case, the Supreme Court has clearly said that the time has come to read the footnotes. When we were doing MBBS, we were told footnotes mat padho. Choti barik cheezein mat padho. But now we need to. In every blood transfusion, you need to take a consent that this can be lethal also.
So one question regarding the PNDT Act, sir, doctor. Is it legal for a surprise ride without giving any notice to the doctor, just to check? Okay, fine. But can they bring the press and telecast it live? Can they do it?
No, authorities cannot bring press into this.
They did it in my place. That's why we are all so agitated.
So you may have to then represent against the press also. You see, ultimately the issue is that if authorities are acting in a high-handed manner,
and they ill-treated the staff, that we have retaliated. But bringing in the press and saying that there was absolutely no evidence for any fetal determination at all. Only for lack of maintenance of the Form 15 couple of forms. That because of that they sealed it and they asked them to go.
See,
they have not yet received the show cause. Why they have closed that those 2 scan centers. No notice has been given. Why they can do it without any notice?
What we shall do, we shall try to make a system in Delhi under the umbrella of IMA, where we can on regular basis send to all the IMA chapters the latest judgments of the Supreme Court and High Court, and you may have to devote some time and read them. Because see, ultimately as doctors, you not only have to do your medical practice, because now law is becoming a very integral part. Law is becoming a very integral part of your work.
Few of us are reading it, but this is an exception where no press has been so far brought in. It was live telecast on the TV at 9:30 in the night, as if the doctor has done something that is demeaning us.
Such cases needs to be challenged. Last point. Such needs to be challenged.
One question, sir.
I'll tell you one thing. Everybody should be aware now. Give me 30 seconds, please. 30 seconds. Right here, by click of a button, I can have a live telecast of my talking with Dr. S.S. Agarwal or with Rahul. It is possible today. So beware, whenever you are talking, whenever you are agitated, whenever you are shouting. Suppose you are shouting on a patient, suddenly he can open without telling you, and you can be on a live webcast on Facebook. So be careful with that. So it's easier nowadays. Passing on information is very easy. Yes, class.
सर रिगार्डिंग आपने जैसे स्टैंडिंग एनेस्थीसिया के बारे में बात बताया, गवर्नमेंट जो है सो 6 मंथ का ट्रेनिंग करवा रही है, उसके बाद जो है सो उसको सीनियर रेजिडेंट के रूप में एज एनेस्थीसिस्ट जैसे पोस्ट रखती है, तो क्या करना चाहिए, उसको करना चाहिए या नहीं?
6 महीने की ट्रेनिंग के बाद
6 महीने का ट्रेनिंग स्टैंडिंग एनेस्थीसिया में करवाई, एनेस्थीसिया में
नहीं। गवर्नमेंट अगर आपको सीनियर रेजिडेंसी का कोर्स दे रही है, आपको क्या दिक्कत है? गवर्नमेंट का आपकी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी थोड़ी है।
हाँ ना, नहीं वही बोले कि झारखंड में ऐसा हुआ है।
नहीं, फिर आपको केस नहीं हो सकता। अगर गवर्नमेंट आपको कोई पोस्ट दे रही है, व्हाट इज द प्रॉब्लम?
हाँ ना, तो कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है।
Now we are finishing this. We had Dr. Shriji wanted to speak on something for 2 minutes, and we have to vacate this hall at sharp 5 o'clock because we have to start a felicitation function right here at 6 o'clock. Tomorrow morning, housekeeping 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock we will be here, and our meeting will finish by 2 o'clock tomorrow. We still have presentation, we still have a lot of discussions remaining tomorrow. And then I'll have...
Thank you very much, respected President, respected Secretary General, distinguished members of the Central Working Committee. I am standing here representing the student wing of IMA, just to brief on our involvement in the National Satyagraha. On 23rd of October, we did hold a meeting of the student leaders at Bangalore, and many states participated in that. I'll just briefly tell you that there are just 2 requirements. Number 1, on 16th of November, for our National Satyagraha, I would very humbly request all our state branches to at least send 5 student leaders from your state with a banner of your state to Delhi to join in the National Satyagraha. So please make a note of that, and let us ensure that all the student leaders from all the state come over for the National Satyagraha to Delhi on 16th of November. Please, at least 5 from each state. And the second thing is that we are planning on a national students meeting on 30th of December, tentatively. We will reconfirm a little later. 30th of December. So please do send the student president, the student chairman, the secretary, and 1 or 2 office bearers from every state. Last time we had around 16 states coming over to Delhi, but this time we would like to have all the states come over. So please do take a note of that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I just want from Kerala, there was a proposal from Kerala, Dr. Alex. Alex is here. And they have a proposal which is an internal matter, abolition of IMA Kannur North branch under IMA Kerala State branch. It has been recommended by the state. We will, okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'll request Dr. S.S. Agarwal to give final comments, close the meeting, adjourn the meeting for tomorrow.
We all have lots of personal questions to ask to our advocate. He is there here tonight. His room number is 328. All those respected members who want to discuss with him, they can do it tonight, today evening, after the function.
Now, Dr. S.S. Agarwal to close the meeting for tomorrow. Tomorrow's meeting starts at 10. 1 more hour you get to sleep.
Sir, please. And we just want to remind you,
Tomorrow 10 a.m. Meeting adjourned till tomorrow 10 a.m. We will meet at 10.
sir, please wait 1 minute. Sharply at 6 o'clock, the felicitation ceremony will be starting in the same here.
and our beloved leader will be brought in with the Nadaswara music and come to the dais. And after the initial speech is for 10 to 15 minutes, we are going to allow 3 minutes for each state. We have set up electronically with the laser show. The mic will not work for more than 3 minutes. Whichever the state wants to talk here or give the presentation, it will be for 3 minutes because we need to finish it within 2 hours for the show. So I request all of you with the formal attire at 6 o'clock. Please be seated by 6 o'clock inside the hall.